Hi, this video is a distillation of a presentation provided in May of 2015 to the California Educational Technology Professionals Association, or CETPA. The main point of this presentation is that the landscape for student information systems, data and analysis systems or DNA systems, as well as learning management systems and related solutions is changing. As the digitalization of education evolves, we need new strategies for evaluating the implications of long static K-12 software platforms and for aligning our systems with our district's current and future priorities. Based on our experience and some research findings from Gartner, a leading IT research organization, we've come to some conclusions about the current state of affairs as related to software platform adoption in the K-12 setting. One of which is that student information systems are typically configured to satisfy the needs of central office managers and school-based administrators, not the educators in the classrooms. Another is that data and analysis systems are powerful but complex. On the one hand, they can provide specific diagnostic data and prescriptive strategies to use with students, but on the other hand, they require a significant commitment by educators and administrators to learning and using the systems in order for them to yield intelligible next steps. Another observation is that the LMS is more closely aligned to instructional needs than the SIS, which is typically viewed by classroom teachers as a transactional system, one wherein you just have to deal with as a matter of compliance, resulting in a lack of ownership at the classroom level, which in turn results in a lack of ownership. But worst of all, these systems are often disconnected, causing teachers a lot of frustration because they have to log into multiple systems just to access their students' data. And even then, it's tough to understand the implications of the data because they're so disassociated from each other. So we have great platforms to meet the individual needs in education. Tools for managing student information, tools for aggregating and analyzing student performance data, and tools for managing the delivery and communication of instructional content. But because these systems don't talk to each other, we end up with a Frankensteining effect, where we try to make them work together, but in the end, well, you know how that story went. So we spend tireless hours of programming time and talent trying to integrate these systems, but the moment one provider changes something in their code, we have to adjust our integration, which turns into a full-time cat and mouse game that can drive a person crazy. Besides, most districts don't even have an application services unit full of programmers and engineers, and even if they do, a majority of their resources are dedicated to operational and business services applications like payroll, which is kind of important, or human capital management systems and other such things. Then you have data security and privacy issues to consider as well. It's one thing to have your vital student information with one company, but when it's being shared with 4 or 5 companies, you increase the chances of potential data leaks or breaches by the number of vendors you're working with. As such, we suggest that we need to move away from the monolithic idea of separate LMS or SIS or DNA solutions and embrace a concept being referred to in some circles as the Instructional Management System, or the IMS. We believe that instructional management systems will supplant current SIS, DNA, and LMS solutions in the next 5 years. The IMS will include the features and functions of all 3 platforms, which will in turn facilitate substantial changes in the teaching and learning environment. And this isn't just a hunch either. You can see it in the market. As learning management systems have evolved, student information systems have added new functionalities to remain competitive, including analytics, as well as content and curriculum management. Standalone DNAs are adding more traditional SIS functionality to make their products more enticing. And this is all happening because of the new normal. The new normal in education is driven by key drivers such as accountability mandates and the realization that educators should make decisions based on information and professional experience rather than depend solely on intuition or traditional responses. Today, local school agencies deploy SISs and DNA platforms for collecting, managing, and reporting, including submitting data to their respective state education agencies for accountability purposes. But what about their use as instructional tools? What percentage of your teachers are actively using DNA systems or their SIS to make instructional decisions? Over the past decade, there has been a clear trend of providing data to teachers on the premise that arming them with information will improve instructional practice and result in improved student outcomes. On the other hand, school administrators and teachers tend to look at the SISs as having transactional requirements, used primarily for attendance and grade reporting. Fundamentally, this has resulted in a feed-the-machine attitude by teachers toward the SIS, rather than a sense of ownership. So, SIS, DNA, and LMS providers have modified or developed solutions that are aimed at making data available to the classroom and beyond. The SIS market has seen increased demand for functionality not previously considered typical for these products. More LMS-like functions are finding their way into the SIS and DNA platforms, and though certainly not a substitute for a full LMS, some districts have found enhanced SIS solutions sufficient to meet their current needs. That's also because having multiple systems in play gets expensive and quite complicated to maintain and update. But that's how most districts do it. Typically, they deploy LMS solutions that are separate from the SIS solutions, which are separate from DNA solutions, and so forth. In districts that have the capacity to do so, data from either system is sometimes used to populate dashboards or similar reports for consumption in the classroom. But the analysis and integration of the data is left up to the individual educators who don't really have the time for it. Besides, there is no real consensus on which data is essential for teachers, students, and parents to have, other than a general agreement on including formative assessment data. So now let's turn our attention to some emerging market trends. First, data collection and management for accountability and other reporting requirements are typically provided through the SIS and, to a lesser degree, the DNA, and predominantly used to satisfy central office management and school-based administrators' needs. As the education industry adopted the mantra of data-driven decision-making, the emphasis has shifted to data to inform classroom instruction. But the classrooms are, or should be, the domain of the LMS and DNA. The SIS has been the primary student data solution, with nearly universal deployment in school districts or schools, while the LMS and DNA, although not uncommon, are not as widely employed. So, based on this reality and some market analysis, we are projecting the collapse of the SIS, DNA, and LMS as we know them. The idea is that there will be an eventual merger of current SIS, DNA, and LMS functionality into a new, comprehensive instructional management system environment in the K-12 setting. The LMS, DNA, and SIS will become a single solution that, on the surface, looks and feels like a student-centric LMS with SIS and DNA features and functions. In fact, SIS providers are already offering learning management features and functions among the available solution modules, although the solutions are not as full-featured as those provided by LMS vendors. Examples include our own ARIES system that offers ARIES Analytics. Analytics is an add-on feature at an additional cost which offers state and local tests with substrand support, gradebook, report card, and transcript integration, attendance percentages and thresholds, and early warning system to mitigate dropout potentials, and so on, much like things that are done in a DNA system. More evidence of this shift toward the LMS can be deduced from the cropping up of multiple integration services, such as Clever, which makes its money by manually integrating systems like Canvas with ARIES, or CK12 with Amplify, and so on and so forth, and passing on the costs to the vendors. But is there any direct evidence that we're going to get away from standalone systems and move toward this IMS idea? Why, yes, there is. Meet FlipSwitch. FlipSwitch doesn't call itself an IMS. It refers to itself as Education Management System. It's an SIS and LMS and a secondary curriculum rolled into one solution. Here's what we were able to find after investigating the system. On the SIS side, FlipSwitch offers student dashboards, a transcripting tool, a way to take notes on students, automated graduation plans, analytics, guardian information, family dynamics, lockout option, ways to impersonate other users in the systems, and so forth. On the LMS side, FlipSwitch includes a way to share a syllabus with the students and parents, discussion boards, a message center, combined content pages for content delivery, a personalized display themes, and a course gradebook. The solution also provides a parent-student portal, allowing parents to view student attendance, view schedules and grades, view progress towards graduation, and even offers a private social network, which is monitored by the educator. Most interestingly, they even include courses for the secondary setting. Mostly credit recovery, AP, and elective courses, and admittedly we didn't vet the content, but what an interesting idea. SIS, LMS, and content in one integrated solution. But here's the downside. There were a lot of things we weren't able to find, and you can read them on the screen. These are, of course, features that can be found in most standalone best-of-breed SIS or LMS or DNA solutions. Another provider of this new IMS idea includes Follett. Follett's Aspen system not only proffers an integrated SIS and LMS, but also features the integration of asset, library, and textbook management too. EduPoint's Synergy offers a powerful IMS platform too that includes a CalPADS compliant SIS, online registration system, an assessment system with item banks, a fully robust learning management system, a special education system that includes IP records and other reporting features, of course a parent and student portal, and an amazing mobile platform for most of these features. So here's our big so what. The bottom line is that we need to look for student data solutions that promote classroom ownership of information by providing actionable data to students and teachers. Further, we need to drive the market by insisting that SIS, LMS, and DNA solutions are, at the very least, tightly integrated with each other and other instructional resources. And we have to assure that data solutions include analysis and prescriptive guidance for individual learners. We need to examine potential solutions for features and functions that provide our classroom educators with analysis and information they can act on and not get sold on familiar labels like big data or personalized learning systems. But getting to a place where the software systems meet the needs of our educators in a more holistic manner is going to take time. And during this transitional period, while the providers get away from the best-of-breed mentality and expand into more integrated offerings, solutions labeled as instructional management systems are going to have shortcomings that can cause quite a stir for multiple stakeholder groups. The question is, what's more important? An integrated system that isn't perfect, but will provide educators with actionable data in an easy and seamless manner, but will cause headaches for district and school administrators, or multiple systems that independently do great things, but because of their disparate nature, are not adopted or owned by our classroom educators, which results in a lack of or no use at all, not to mention a big bill each year and a higher chance of data leaks. Thanks for watching.